the fields. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 77 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. We have a bit of an issue with Twitter, so I'm going to have to post the YouTube feed to Twitter.
Yes, I was just going to, because YouTube or X or whatever it is you want to call it is giving all sorts of
We will be back to
issues.
normal. Don't be mean. Don't be bad. We'll be back to X next week.
We will be back to X next week. If something happens in the meantime, maybe we'll go live partway through the show. Who knows? Things can happen.
You never know. What are you doing?
I'm updating everyone on our lovely X account that they can check us out on
YouTube. Good. Because I was doing the same thing.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
We're so professional. Let's just.
You know what?
Let's not talk for the first 10 minutes.
It was like 37 seconds, and sometimes people. I think there's like a subsect of people on the planet that would pay for us to not talk.
Oh, I bet you they would pay big bucks to hear us not talk.
Especially now that the Lions are number one.
Say it again. What are the Lions?
The West. The Lions are number one in the West.
Love it.
After a...
Thrumpet.
Would you call that game dominating, or would you just call that a win?
I'd call that a win. It wasn't
just
really...
a win?
No, it wasn't.
It felt like it... and we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show, but it felt like in the fourth that it wasn't really a runaway win, but it was just a comfortable win for the Lions.
Yes, it was.
But before we jump into the world of the CFL, we do have a small note on the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks.
Actually, a big note.
Well, Arturs Silovs signs a 2-year, $850K AAV deal, which lines him up so both Demko and Silovs' deal end in 2 years.
Yeah. They do match up?
They do match up. So the 2 years will bring Silovs and Demko's contracts to both end at the same time.
Oh, I read somewhere that they didn't, and that Demko had 1 extra year than Silov.
I don't believe that to be the case. Let me double check that. But
double check that, because that's what I've been led to believe, and people were all like, "Oh."
Well,
yeah, that's what they did. They were on Facebook and they were going, "Ah."
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, but no, I mean, for $850, you get a Silovs for 2 years. Hello.
Yeah.
No GM in their right mind's not going to make that deal.
Well, and what it does is under $6 million, you have a duo that I would be comfortable. If you said a 60-40 split, I'd be probably comfortable with that. Yes. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had a very small sample size of Silovs, but a dominant performance in that small sample size.
I remember saying the same thing about Demko. We had a very small sample size of Demko, and all of a sudden he was tossed in head first. And it seemed to work out. So
both contracts expire in 26-27. The year difference that you might have heard is that Silovs will still be a restricted free agent, so an RFA at the end of the contract. And if it was a 3-year contract, he would have become a UFA.
Oh, okay.
So Demko will become a UFA at the end of the 25-26 season, where Silovs will become an RFA at the end of the 25-26 season.
Gotcha.
Basically
Nice.
meaning more team control from the Canucks.
Great grab.
And it's really kind of what this management team has been doing with players' second contracts. If you look at Höglander, Podkolzin, you get your entry-level contract for 3 years, then you sign a bridge gap for 2,
Yep.
and then they decide what to do with you at that point.
And then if you're good enough, then we're going to sign you long-term. We're going to give you a 7-year or 8-year deal.
Exactly. But it's allowing the team to have $5.85 million in 2 solid goalies. Again, in a goaltending duo that I think any team would take for under $6 million.
I'd put it up against anything, to be honest.
Especially with Swayman leaving Boston. I think they might be the best duo, one of the best tandems in the NHL.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, we need to cut that out in editing. Jesus.
Yes. Did you? It's Kevin, though.
Hardy har har.
I'm funny.
You're funny, all right.
I'm a funny man.
Anything else you want to talk about in the world of the NHL, the Canucks?
No, it's been real quiet, and which we kind of said it would be.
It usually is this time of year.
When we were talking to Harmon Dial there before the last time he was on, he had said that July would be deadly quiet, into August be quiet, and then the last few weeks of August things would start picking up again.
Yeah. And again, you're getting a few trickles of information. Like Kuznetsov has been put on unconditional waivers out of Carolina. Not a great situation there. I wish the best for the player. He's in phase 2 of the player assistance program.
Yeah.
And
who was it that walked away from $6 million to go home to Russia?
I'm not 100% sure. That piece of news missed me. I've been very busy this past week packing, so I've missed a lot of news and things I'd probably normally be up on. But I hadn't heard anything about a player walking away from $6 million to go play in Russia.
Hurricanes forward Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Yeah. The 32-year-old center is reportedly returning to play in Russia.
Oh, so he's basically getting out of his player assistance program by going and playing in Russia.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because KHL won't follow the NHL, PA, and NHL's rules.
Yeah, of course.
So he's going to go home and play hockey in Russia.
See ya.
Yep. Jumping into the world of the CFL, it was a pretty fun week in the CFL.
Well, and then call it fun if you were Chris Jones.
Well, the weekend was fun. They had a chance to win.
They have a chance to win every game.
However, if you're
Chris Jones, easily be 5-0.
Yep, 100%. Chris Jones, however, it was announced Monday that Chris Jones had been fired as the head coach and general manager of the Edmonton Elks. Now, a big point here I wanted to touch on before we jump into it is that according to insiders, the new ownership group was not informed or consulted on this decision to fire Jones. I don't think it changes anything.
And if you believe that, I have some land I want to sell you.
Look, they're insiders for reasons. They have contacts that we don't.
And they're also insiders for a reason because they're literally being told what to say.
100%. I'm just, that's why I said insiders have said. I'm not saying we're reporting that.
No.
I'm just saying that as per the insiders, Chris Jones is being let go and the contract being spread out over the next few years of payments was not passed by them.
The biggest thing there would be how close are they to this deal being done? Yeah. From what I'm hearing, it's very, 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 very close. So for them not to be consulted, I think legally that's what they have to go with. And it really doesn't change the fact that this had to be done.
Yeah. We were calling for it this time last year.
The Jones experiment failed. It's that simple.
The CFL career of Chris Jones has failed.
Yeah, like
He has had, and I pulled up his record here. He has had 4 seasons above 500. His total record is 61 wins, 70 losses.
not good.
Like I don't understand where the reverence comes from because he's so well regarded.
I think he's just one of those guys who is a real guys guy. And
Yeah.
If you're a Chris Jones guy, it's like being a Paul Heyman guy, wrestling reference. And you're going to back him.
Like second in the West, first in the West, fifth. Like lost in the West final, won the Grey Cup, failed to qualify, lost in the East final, lost in the West semifinal, failed to qualify, fire.
Yeah.
That's not a like I understand there's like how come Devon Claybrooks hasn't had another chance, but Chris Jones has had year after year after year of chances.
I actually heard why Claybrooks hasn't been given another chance, but I won't comment, but there's a reason that is so disgusting. It would pull back the curtain on a lot of people who are being celebrated and blow them out of the water, and it wouldn't be nice. We don't do that here because we love the CFL and we're here to promote the CFL. So is there politics in play in coaches?
Of course.
1,000,000%. Coaches, as has been said numerous times over the centuries, coaches are hired to be fired.
Yep.
You're only your day is numbered the day you're hired, right? You only have X amount of time, and you're going to be let go.
Yep.
It's just
and
that's
in
coaching.
And I'm saying that doesn't matter what sport you're in, whether you're CFL, college, NFL, everywhere. You're
baseball,
hired.
T-ball.
Well, yeah, when you stack the lineup in T-ball,
do you not expect to win?
I'm just gonna look right at him here. When you stack it in a T-ball lineup for kids, you directly at you,
and that's why I was never allowed to coach again. So
Jarius Jackson,
long overdue, in my opinion.
Yes,
strictly a fan of the game. Long overdue.
And we talked about it last year. Yeah, sorry, we did talk about it last year that there were implications with the cap of him being fired last year.
Yeah.
I read something and I couldn't find it, or I found it and then my computer had all sorts of issues just before we went live. But with him being fired this year, it actually decreases quite dramatically how much the cap hit affects for the coach cap.
Yes, yeah, I heard something about that.
So there's a different value based off of how many years he had left, how much money he was owed in total. So it's less by firing him at this point than it would have been last year at this time.
I'm a big fan of caps, salary caps in professional sports. But the admin cap in the CFL is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They got to get rid of it, change it, do something. I say just throw it in the garbage where it belongs and let teams hire and fire as they will with a coach. Because can you imagine in the NHL, you have a coach that all of a sudden your team, let's pick Edmonton, you go 20-0 or you go 0-20. You can't fire your coach because you're screwed. You're right at your top of your cap.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous,
right? So as it is now, one of my favorite players, and I know favorite players of the Hughes family at large, Mr. Geroy Simon, is now the GM.
Well, unless you're the CFL PR team, and then it's a Jerry Simon.
Is that what they did?
Did you not see that? The initial press release from the CFL said Jerry Simon.
You have one job. And
the quarterback coach / offensive coordinator is now also assuming the head coach duties. Now, very clearly, they didn't name him the interim head coach. They didn't name him the head coach. He's just taking on the duties. And I don't know why that reason would be, but it's something that stood out to me in everything, every press release. It was he's taking on the head coaching duties.
Maybe it has something to do with the cap.
Could be it could be the cap, or maybe a pay structure in his contract.
Could be. Could really be.
And just one of those things that, because instantly they announced that G. Roy Simon was the interim general manager.
Yes, and I think that's just going to be until the new owners take over, and then he'll be named GM, because he's been training for that position for a while.
Yep. Or if the new GM or the new ownership comes in and wants to clear house completely, then it's not firing a GM; it's someone who was given the interim title, right?
Exactly.
It looks cleaner.
Now the question is, what other changes happen?
Well,
Jarius Jackson came out publicly and said Trey Brown isn't getting a start.
Does he see game action? Like, how do you not have a packages that include him as quarterback?
You have to. I mean, Coach Jones has had lost the locker room. And that didn't just come from me. That came from people who actually played in Edmonton. He lost the locker room. Everything starts up top. You want to build a culture, you need to start that at the top. And you could do that for anything, whether it be a dealership where I work, business like yours where you work. Everything starts at the top. And in professional ball, especially the CFL with just a 9-team league, you really need to build that from the top down, not from the bottom up. So, question is now, how quickly do they get the new owners in? And do they make any other changes within that organization? I hope so. I hope there's some opportunities for others, because it looks bad.
There was a defensive coach change as well the day after. One of the defensive line coach, I believe it was, is now the defensive coordinator, something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
I had all this stuff pulled up, and it's really frustrating, but I don't want to open up too many tabs on my computer because I hate to go dead during a live stream of the show.
Well, too bad you didn't have like a portable air conditioner that you could put in that room to keep it cool when you're doing the podcast.
Don't even start me on that. Because you gave us the wrong pieces. We haven't even talked about this yet.
Oh, I gave you the wrong pieces to the air conditioner? I don't think I did.
The window piece and the vent piece do not connect in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't think they do. I remember that from before. We just stuck that piece out the window.
Well, that would have been good to know. But either way,
yes.
I think there's going to be slow changes throughout the rest of the season here in Edmonton. I think a lot of different guys are going to get looks, including Trey Ford.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I don't have any confidence after I heard him say that BLT or whatever his name, Bethel Thompson.
McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Yeah, BLT. Nacho.
Bacon lettuce Thompson.
Nacho. Yeah, when Jarius came out and said that he's still going to be their starter, I was like, well, that's just nuts. Like, I just don't understand it.
Unless Jarius Jackson wants to, unless there's a reason for it. I mean, it is a short turnaround this week with a game Sunday, then they're playing Thursday.
Yes.
So could it be a pure fact of run with the status quo and make changes next week when you play Thursday and then you don't play again until Sunday?
Could be.
Right? Like there's so many different things that could be happening with everything there.
Yeah.
Was there any other CFL news before we started talking about the actual week? That was the weekend, I guess. Thursday to Sunday.
There was. And I thought of it as you were talking, and then it just disappeared.
All right. Well,
So
it
carry
pops
on.
back
It'll
in.
probably come back to me.
Well, you know what? I'm going to let you sit with that thought while we hear a message from the sponsor of
The week.
the show.
Hi guys, Mitch here with Rangeland RV. You might remember me from such videos as Big Mitch P, the Rockwood 1970 ESP, and even Hot Deals. But I'm here today to talk about something else. Are you having trouble seeing yourself in a new trailer this year because of the high interest rates? Well, we've got a solution for you. We are back with our 2.99% financing on all of our 2023 travel trailers and fifth wheels. On now all the way till...
For a limited time only. Limited time only?!
For a limited time only. So get on down here, take advantage of the massive savings, and get yourself inside your guys' dream RV this season. Happy camping.
Thank you so much.
That's Mitch, by the way. If you want an RV, come see me. But then you want to stop by Mitch desk to say, "Hey, you're the guy on TV." But you have to come see me to get the real deal.
Go see him to get the deal, and then go tell Mitch that
Get Mitch's
he's the
autograph.
reason. Yeah, I was gonna say, tell Mitch you're the reason he's in the store, but shopped with the old man.
Exactly.
But much appreciation to Rangeland RV for sponsoring the show. Let's jump into the first game of the week. Thursday, we had the Toronto Argonauts going into Montreal, and the Argonauts picking up the victory 37-18. And the biggest note of this is not that the Alouettes finally lose a game. It's that Cody Fajardo goes down. And I have yet to see any update on Cody Fajardo.
I was just going to say that. I'm going to Google it, but I haven't seen any update on what's going on with Fajardo. But it didn't look good.
Well, the plus side is Montreal has the bye this week. So for Montreal and Montreal fans, and really fans of the CFL, that's the best thing possible. For us, it might be the worst thing possible because there's going to be no roster updates probably until next week.
Yeah, and 6 days ago was the last time anything was updated on the Cody Fajardo injury.
Yeah.
So, as we like to say on this show, death, taxes, and Cody Fajardo winning. He didn't lose. He went out.
Nope.
Can't put it on him.
Nope.
And that's the problem when you don't have, when you're relying your entire offense on that one QB, like so many teams do, that when they go down, I'm trying to think of the backup.
Caleb Evans.
Evans comes in and
he was okay.
He's not bad. I mean, he was with BC for a while, was he not? Evans, if my memory serves.
I think it might have been a different Evans. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't recognize the first name Evans.
I do.
Like, I don't recognize the name Caleb.
We would know that name too, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, he went 12 for 22, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Right? So
tough one to lose. More so tough one to lose for Fajardo. And really comes down to how long is he going to be out? If this is a long-term injury, the East is up for grabs again.
100%.
Right? It's like, holy. Fun game to watch. I just watched a little bit of that one. I didn't catch the full game.
I think I watched after I saw Fajardo go down because I wanted to see what the backup was going to do rather than just watch the highlights.
Yeah.
But again, I might mention this a couple times, and you guys might notice a change next week, but I'm moving. So when I say I was watching something, that means it was on in the background while I was putting things into boxes and taping them up.
for the 19th million time. Jake is moving again, folks.
Hey, guys, I'm moving. I think I've only mentioned it like twice, so let's calm down.
Jesus. It's like you're the only person who's ever moved in the world.
I want to throw things at you. The last time you moved, you weren't even here, so
I was playing poker in Punta Cana last time I moved.
ridiculous.
That's the way you move, folks.
Jumping. Sorry. Anything else on the Argos Als game?
No.
Jumping to the funnest game of the week. Easy for me to say.
Oh,
Stampeders take on the Bombers 37-41 in favor of Winnipeg.
I would go to far as say it was the best game of the season so far. Top to bottom, start to finish. This game was up for grabs. It literally had everything you could ask for. One of those games as a CFL fan, you want people to get excited about the CFL, put that game on a VHS tape and throw it in the old VHS player and let
VHS. Whew, you're showing your age there.
Because holy crap, what a game. I can't count the number of times someone texted me and said, "Are you entertained yet?" Because it was that good.
Yeah, so both quarterbacks over 300 yards.
Yeah, over the combo of over 600 yards and tossing the ball.
Over 650 yards. Like that's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Over
it was
almost 900 over math is hard. Over 900 yards total offense combined between the teams. And just scoring touchdowns too. Like it's not like they were just driving the ball and not scoring.
No.
Final score or a total combined of 78 points.
It's insane. It was just a fun game to watch. It's what the CFL was built to be with the wider field. It was just fun. It was CFL at its best. And as a fan of neither of these teams, I mean, I'm probably more of a Stampeders fan than anything else because we live here in Calgary and I've seen so many of their games as a season ticket holders for so long. It was just fun. I had picked the Bombers, so I was quite happy with the win.
And it all comes down to, and we've talked about it every single week, the Stampeders had 3 turnovers. The Blue Bombers had 2 turnovers. You
can't turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win a game. It's a magic number.
I don't know how many times I can say it is. You maintain possession of the ball when you're on offense and you win games.
Exactly.
End of story.
Fun game. Just a fun game.
Just an all-around fun game. It'll be interesting to see how the Stamps come out of that game coming into next week because they'll be taking on the winners of the next game. The Roughriders go into BC and lose by a score of 20-35. Lions claiming first place in the West.
Again, on freaking Twitter machine or on Facebook, somebody's like, "Oh, it was a sloppy game by VA. He sucked." And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had to comment because I couldn't take it anymore. VA threw for the over 355 yards, was it?
451 yards.
451 yards, but it was a sloppy game. Well, when you don't have a running game and all you do is throw the ball, shut up. It was a great game.
Let's not take it away from Saskatchewan. They played really great defense against the run. They handed the ball to Standback 12 times and got 14 yards. Are you going to go back to that well over and over again? No. Or are you going to do what your strength is and let VA scramble out of so many situations where I literally was yelling, "Get rid of the ball," and was able to make these plays? Like it's ridiculous.
I mean, McInnes over 200 yards, I think he had in the air.
243 yards for McInnes.
And Hollins should have had 500 yards, but he dropped like 5,000 freaking touchdown passes.
He dropped 9. Justin McInnes dropped 0.
Yeah. Yeah, McInnes, 24 for 24, wasn't it?
14 for 14.
14 for 4. I knew the 4 was there. 14 for 14 for 234 yards. I mean, if you put if Hollins is having his normal game, which he wasn't, he was having a horrible game. If he was having a good game, that score could have been 70-20.
Well, not to defend the commenter on a sloppy game, 26 for 42 is not Vernon Adams Jr. like.
No, and he threw 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions. So I get the point of view where you can say sloppy to a degree.
But a win's a
win,
and he 451 yards in passes.
And 26 passes.
3 TDs, 3 turnovers this year, 3 interceptions. 1 was in the Toronto game and then 2 in this game.
Yeah.
More interestingly, did you happen to listen to the interview during the game with Mr. Nathan Rourke?
I did not. I was actually out at a friend's house and we were watching this game with the volume off.
Right. Well, reading between the lines, which I love to do, of course, as you know, I got a feeling that kid's given the NFL 1 more year.
Well, he is.
And there's only one place he wants to play.
Well, he's already signed. He's on a roster.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's on our roster.
Is he not? I think he's on the.
I think so.
I thought he was.
I don't even think we have signing rights for him right now.
Okay, interesting. I thought he was on the negotiation list.
No, that's what I was looking for. No, I don't even think he is at this point. But he'll only play for 1 team.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, he didn't come out and say that in that many words, but it was basically, I feel like, hey, I still have a chance in 2024 to play in the NFL. Why would you say I have a chance in 2024?
Well, in his defense, that's when his contract is up.
Yeah, so I think he plays this year out. If he plays, don't get me wrong, it's totally everything's off that I'm saying is off the board.
If he's the backup, I think the same thing as well. That it's off the
because he'll play. If he's a backup, he's going to get some reps. Yep. If they put him on the practice roster or make him 3rd string, I honestly think this kid wants to throw the ball.
Yeah,
and the CFL is his bread and butter.
Well, and the big thing
game was made for Nathan Rourke.
Well, and the big thing is even on the practice roster, he's making better money than he is in the CFL.
You know what? I think it comes down to more than just money at this point for him.
But that's what my point was going to be. Sorry, is that if he was 10 years older or if he was American, then I think he gives the NFL way more of a chance and sticks out. He's Canadian. He's in the prime of his career. He could come back and play for 3 or 4 years and still have a chance to go back and play 3rd string quarterback in the NFL again. He's young enough that that's still a possibility.
Exactly. No, I know. I have a feeling we're going to see Nathan Rourke in the CFL in a year or so.
Well, how old is Vernon Adams Jr.?
He's not a young man.
He's 31, so he's the same age as me.
For a quarterback, I mean, he's probably got 2 or 3 more years. Really good arm on him.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so you have a quarterback duo of Rourke and Vernon Adams.
Can you imagine?
Two very different quarterbacks.
Oh, who do you prepare for?
You can't.
Right? I mean, come on. They would be ridiculous. We wouldn't keep both.
I was going to say, would Adam Jr. go somewhere else?
Yeah, he would go. We'd trade him away.
Then we head into
do the 6-for-1 deal like we did back when Dunnigan was playing for BC. We shipped him off to Toronto for 6 players.
Jesus.
Yeah.
6-for-1. Jumping into the last game of the week, the game that I'm calling the straw that broke the back The Red Blacks go into Edmonton and win by a score of 37-34. And boy, did I think this was actually going to be the win for the Elks.
How did it get won?
How did it get won? Well, the Elks shot themselves in the foot again.
It was a walk-off field goal.
Was it really? Yeah, it was.
No time left on the clock. I was just laughing.
So in the 6 weeks of the CFL, there's been 5 walk-off field goals.
It's insane.
At least.
Yeah, I think, probably. There's been one a week
Except for last week.
Except for last week.
Yeah.
So.
That's wild.
It's insane. I think in week 1 or week 2, 2 games had walk-off field goals.
Yeah.
I think it was week 1. I can't be positive of that, though.
Drew
Honestly,
Brown.
I watched a little bit of this. I didn't watch the whole game. I had other things I had to attend to.
Drew Brown threw for 480 yards.
Insane.
Just absolutely ridiculous. Like, he threw for more yards than the Edmonton Elks' entire offense generated.
Yeah. Just bizarre. It was like you say, it was the final straw.
And the thing is, it was spread out amongst all his receivers. Like,
do you have the
3
penalties?
receivers
Do you have the number of penalties for Edmonton up?
I do not, but I can find it.
Because I bet you'll see that it was quite high.
I don't know if I have that stat in front of me.
And I honestly think everybody on the Elks bench knew that this was the final game for Chris Jones. The smiles that Chris Jones had was just, you could just tell he was like, oh my.
7 penalties for 68 yards versus the Ottawa Red Blacks, who had 8 penalties for 100 yards.
Wow. Interesting. But yeah, it was, I mean, like you say, there was nothing to write home about. It was
typical Edmonton under Chris Jones.
Yeah, they could be 5-0 or 6-0 or whatever it is. Have they had a bye? I don't know.
They are 0-5.
Yeah, so they could have won each. I don't know. I bet you if you go back and look at their record, they probably didn't lose by a touchdown more than twice.
I don't think so. Like, especially recently, it's been very, very close.
It's every game. Like, if it's insane when you look at it, it's I shake my head. You go back to June 8th, they lost by 8 points. Against the Alouettes, they lost by 3.
Yep.
Against the Argonauts, they lost by 3. Against the Lions, they lost by 3. And against the Red Blacks, they lost by 3.
So there's one game where they lost by more than a touchdown.
Well, and it was 8 points.
More than a field goal, I guess, really. Like,
yeah. It was 8 points against the Riders. It's like insanity when you look at that. I mean, you 3 points, 4 games in a row. Like, discipline. And how many of those were walk-off field goals?
It's discipline. It's collapsing in the last few minutes of the game. It's literally multiple times. It's like Edmonton's finally going to, oh, no, there's the penalty. Or, oh, no, there's the turnover.
Exactly. As Manny on the show, Manny Arsenal last week had said that sacrifice and attention to detail just hasn't been there. And the sacrifice hasn't been there.
And I was going to say, and if you lose as a coach, if you lose the room, your players aren't sacrificing themselves for you. They're not going to be doing every small thing that they need to do to make the team better.
Exactly. I agree. So on to next week, and we'll see how the Elks respond, I guess.
Yep. However, before we jump into everyone's favorite segment, we have a return of a segment.
Power rankings, here we go. Who's the greatest? We want to know. Hughes Sports, breaking it down. CFL, the talk of the town. From
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Hughes Sports Power Rankings. How are you feeling about the power rankings right now, old man?
I'm interested to see what you done because you gone and done missed last week. You gone and done missed last week. And so I'd like to see what 2 weeks off does for you to see if you can restore any type of faith that I might have.
You've had faith come and go. You're a fickle fan. It's fine.
This shouldn't be the Hughes Sports Podcast Power Rankings. It should be Jake's Sports Power Rankings, by the way.
I am the host of the Hughes Sports Podcast. In ninth place, you might have guessed it based off of the way we were discussing everything.
And why is it Edmonton?
And number 9, we have the Edmonton Elks. Really? After finding out that they had fired Chris Jones, I kind of wanted to put them at 8th just for the shock factor because I think they might get a new coach bump. But the fact that they're not hiring a new coach right away gives me doubt that they'll be able to turn this around until they get new blood in there. In 8th place, we have the similarly struggling Hamilton Tiger Cats. Had a bye this week, but
with Bo Levi Mitchell, and they're 0-5.
Bo Levi, I don't think is to blame for this.
No. God, no.
He's made throws to receivers. His receivers have dropped so many balls where they're open and wide open at that, or light coverage, and they've dropped them after they've hit them in the hands.
It's insanity.
And it's something maybe we can talk about next week after the Tiger Cats play again. Very similar to the Chris Jones losing the locker room in Edmonton. I wonder if Bo Levi has lost the room in Hamilton.
Isn't it funny how we say Bo Levi has lost the room, not the coach?
No, I don't know who the coach is off the top of my head, but I think I don't know if players are going to bat, like the receivers aren't making that extra effort that they do when they're playing with a quarterback that they like.
Yeah, I know.
Look at McInnes. Look at McInnes. He's making those catches. And Vernon Adams, the chemistry there. It doesn't feel like there's chemistry between Bo Levi and the quarterbacks or the receivers. Sorry. In 7th place, we have the 2 and 4 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Yes, they did win this week. However, they have yet to show that they are back in full capacity. I still don't think Calgary is a great team. I think basically 5 through 7 could be swapped and swingled. The bottom 2 teams are kind of on their own, and the top 4 teams are on their own.
Okay.
In 7th place, we have the team that lost to the Bombers, the Calgary Stampeders. Again, I understand the argument for both ways. Yes, however, Calgary has shown that this is what they are. A 2 and 3 and a 500 team at best with Jake Meyer and Dave Dickinson. Winnipeg has shown that they are a 0-4 team or a 4-0 team. And this year they're playing like an 0-4 team, getting wins against teams they should be winning.
There goes our chance to interview freaking coach after the game. Jake tossing him under the bus like a frick. Wow, like it's not bad enough. Freaking the Flames hate you now. The freaking
it's all the same ownership group.
Now Coach Dickinson won't even talk to us.
I mean, to be fair, the ownership group might forget that they actually own the Stampeders every now and again.
That's true.
Ownership group. In 5th place, we have the Ottawa Red Blacks. I think the display of Drew Brown, again, throwing for 480 yards this past week, despite barely winning against Edmonton, but many teams have barely won against Edmonton. They're a good team. I think they are pushing their way up to be, if Cody Fajardo is out for a long period of time, they could be pushing themselves into conversation of being in that running for the East.
Yeah, I totally agree.
In 4th place, we have the Toronto Argonauts. You seem confused. They beat an Als team that didn't have the key piece of the Als team. How can you say 100%? And that's great for them. They're still playing with a backup quarterback who has more experience than Caleb Evans does.
Okay, I'm gonna let you have this one.
I could not put them anywhere near the top three teams.
Okay.
In third place, you have the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You're going to be shocked. You're not going to like the top four. I can already tell by your reaction. The Saskatchewan Roughriders lost in a very close game, two touchdown game. Clearly have lost the best in the West, which gives way to the BC Lions, who are in second place at 5-1, meaning your team in first is Montreal Alouettes. Yes, they lost the game by 19 points. They did it without a quarterback who, for all we know, will be back after.
But this is a weekly power rankings, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
we have
And
to
it's
go
based
by
off-
based off the weeks.
No. That's the misconstruction of everyone's understanding of power rankings.
So what is it?
You have to base it off of their entire season past,
That's what I just said. Weeks, plural.
and then also looking ahead to the future.
Yeah,
If
but
Cody
looking
Fajardo
ahead to the future, you have to count Fajardo out until we're told different.
I'm counting him
Because
in
put
until told
BC
different.
in second and Montreal in first. I don't know what kind of crack that you're freaking smoking over there, but you and I need to have
The
a
BC
discussion
Lions lost to
about
Toronto
your
Argonauts.
drug use. Holy cow, I'm embarrassed by this.
The BC Lions lost to the Toronto Argonauts, who are in fourth place. So did the Montreal Alouettes. What's your argument on that? How can you put Montreal BC in first when they lost to the fourth place team? That's how ridiculous you're being.
Because that was the first game of the freaking season and we have done nothing but win since, and we just beat an undefeated team.
So we beat an undefeated team. We moved up from fourth to second on the power rankings. Montreal lost the game using their backup quarterback.
Folks.
We lost the game to Toronto. We lost the game to Toronto in Duke's first game as a starter in the CFL.
Folks, this is what happens when you do too many drugs.
This is the only logical positioning that you can put these teams in.
Unbelievable. I'm embarrassed for you.
You post them up on your Facebook groups.
No,
And
because they all back you like
when everyone looks at it, it's like
millennial fools.
Millennial fools. You're just old. You're just grumpy and old because you can't stay up past 9 o'clock.
Is it 9 yet? I'm getting tired. Can we go to the fans' most favorite segment of the show?
No. We need to hold on to this for a second. What? So your only issue with this is that BC's under Montreal?
Yes.
Montreal has proven to be a complete team. They lose one piece, the most important piece, and they lose.
Power rankings. We haven't lost any pieces. So we're stronger. We're more powerful.
That's not what power rankings means. Oh my God.
It's right in the word power.
Don't get the power. Oh my God. I swear to you.
I swear, if you were here in this room, we would be having a WrestleMania moment.
What? Like
I would throw you off the cage.
So
no,
again,
you're tossed off the cage. You can't talk when you've been tossed off the cage.
Again.
Oh my God! I think they killed him.
As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
No, that's when he went through the cage.
No, that's when he went off the top.
No, when he went off the top, I just watched the clip just the other day.
Oh, really?
He went off the top. He said, "Oh my God, I think they killed him."
That was the King? JR? So to recap the Hughes Sports Power Rankings, we have the Edmonton Elks in 9th. The Hamilton Tiger Cats
say I'm right.
The Edmonton Elks in 9th. The Hamilton Tiger Cats in 8th. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 7th. The Stampeders 6th. In 5th place, we have the Ottawa Red Blacks. Toronto Argonauts taking 4th. Saskatchewan Roughriders in 3rd. The BC Lions in 2nd. And in 1st place, the favorite still to win the Grey Cup, the Montreal Alouettes.
Favorite to win the Grey Cups.
until we're told
God,
Cody
give
Fajardo
me
is out.
serenity.
Until we're told that Cody Fajardo is out and out long term, they have the best team.
And then people ask me, why do you drink? This is why I drink.
You know what? Are you ready for your stupid segment?
No,
The fans'
no,
favorite segments.
it's everybody's favorite segment. You actually introduce it every week as everybody's favorite segment.
It's time for the old man predictions. How well did he do? Do-do-da, do-dee-do.
That's right, folks. It is time for everyone's favorite segment. The old man predicts. How well did he do? Do-dee-da, do-dee-do.
Why do you have
And
to
last
repeat
week,
it? Like what we just heard, like you're just repeating yourself.
again, did you want a longer intro? I'm giving you a longer intro.
You have cooler music though.
The old man in week 6 went 2 wins, 2 losses, bringing his combined record of 17 wins, 7 losses, and a week-to-week record of 2 wins, 4 losses.
Not bad, 17-7, eh?
Yeah, that 2-4 looks pretty dismal over there.
Well, I was thinking about that 2-4, and you know what it was?
Yep.
It wasn't. We keep track of the weeks when we do my hockey. We weren't
Yep.
keeping track of the with the 17-7.
Correct. We weren't keeping track. That's why we're doing both this time.
Yes,
Because
I think
in
we
the
get rid of
CFL
the week and we just keep
Nope.
track of how good I am.
Nope. Because during the CFL season, I like keeping track of your week.
Well, in the NHL, you could keep track of the weeks. In the CFL, I think it's because I'm not just picking one team.
But you're picking the same amount of games. On average, you're picking more games in the CFL.
Oh, I'm picking way more in the CFL every
you're
week. It's 4 games. Usually, it's 3 games in the week.
Most of the time,
for
it's
the NHL.
four games a week usually.
Was it 4 games? I thought it was 3. Okay, let's get at it.
Let's get at it. Give me 1 second. I need to move things around on my computer.
First game of the week.
First game of the week has the
Hold it.
brand.
We have a doubleheader.
We have a game on Friday.
Boom, 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 boom. We have 2 games on Friday.
We don't have a Thursday nighter this week.
We don't have a Thursday night game. Isn't that interesting?
Why is there no Thursday night game?
Because we have a doubleheader on Friday. I love doubleheader football. It makes me
But
happy.
why?
Makes me happy.
But why?
Because I love football and I get to watch it for like 7 hours.
No, I understand that's what makes you happy, but why aren't we? Why is there's no football, there's no NFL. Why are they changing this up? They had a good thing going here.
So,
1 game a week or 1 game a day.
So on Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time,
4 p.m. Pacific time, we have the Edmonton Elks going in to take on the Ottawa Red Blacks in Ottawa.
fans' choice is 61% Red Blacks, 39% Elks. At this present time, I have the Red Blacks. I might change that, but I don't know. We're going to go through the rest of the games. Right now, I'm going to say the Red Blacks.
Okay, we'll put in the Red Blacks. And do remember what Manny Arsenault said last week is that he called that the Red Blacks would take the first game, and then in the back-to-back, the Elks would take the second game. So just not to influence your decision, I just want to bring up the fact that man might know what he's talking about.
Well, he didn't do very good in his picks, and he wouldn't give me his picks for this week, yet he was chirping me about me losing 2 last week. Holy, you give the guy a 30 minutes, a 15-minute segment that turns into 45, and what does he do? He chirps you the rest of the week.
As he should. The second game on Friday, the evening game, starting at 6:30 Pacific time, we have the Blue Bombers going in to take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Saskatchewan, which I think is going to be a jam-packed game because it's 8:30 in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And
Friday
the
night.
Bombers are on the way up. The Riders are on the way up. This could be a whack smack hack game.
This should be a sellout, I would think.
Well, there was an article earlier this week about how attendance is actually not improving as much as you would assume in Saskatchewan this year.
That is correct. It's not. This game, Jake, this is the game of the week.
This is the Toyn Cost game of the week.
This is the Toyn Cost. I'm going to stick with the Riders. I'm going to say that the crowd is going to push them to the victory.
All right. We were going to take the Riders. And then on Saturday, we have the Toronto Argonauts taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats in a game that used to be a rivalry, is still a rivalry. I really don't.
Well, I mean, they're just down the road from each other. It should be a huge rivalry, but nobody in Toronto cares about the CFL. 12,000 people average a game. Sad. Having said that, I'm going to take the Argonauts over Hamilton, along with 81% of the fans' choice.
And then we have the game that we are going to.
We are going to be sitting at the 55-yard line, 5 rows up from the bench, or 3 rows up from the bench, 5 rows from the bench of the BC Lions. We might have a camera there to be taking some video of Jake being drunk. I'm just saying.
I'm drinking. I don't drink. I'm an innocent boy.
Yeah, you just
we have
crack apparently.
We have the BC Lions taking on the Calgary Stampeders.
This one should be a cakewalk, and so it's going to be a 3-point game, and with BC winning with no time left on the clock, and we kick a field goal, or it's going to be a blowout. One of the two. BC.
The biggest concern I have going into this week for the Lions and the Stampeders is the heat. It's supposed to be like 33 degrees again.
Yeah.
Like it'll cool off a little bit, but it doesn't start to cool off until after the sun goes down. So
and it's
but when the game's going to start, it's going to be 30 degrees, between 30 and 35.
That's a big stretch. You went 30, 33, 35. What you just talking through your hat?
Well, I mean, it's the weather. You just throw a number at a dartboard and say, it'll be in this range.
So if you're a professional, what you do is you grab it. They're saying only a high of 31 on that day so far. Now that could change. But right now they're saying a high of 31. So it won't be horrible. I mean,
but it's not.
It'll still feel like 33. We could get a thunderstorm happening.
They've said that every night this week that there's going to be thunderstorms. So
yeah, we just haven't had one yet, eh?
No.
So you kind of know when it happens, it's going to be a massive one.
Correct.
Right.
So I wanted to.
No.
Oh, this is 2023. I don't care about 2023.
What are you doing now?
I'm trying to find. I hate it. I'm trying to find the viewership statistics for the CFL because there's so much talk about the fact that attendance is down and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. But viewership year over year is up on TSN.
Exactly.
I'd love to also see the CFL Plus numbers, but I doubt we'll ever see those unless it's a huge number. But maybe that's a task that I can't commit to anything this week. A task for future me is to try to find access to these numbers because they're out there somewhere. I just need to find them.
Wonder if one of my
contact
contacts at TSN that I've recently made might be able to supply those numbers to us.
Or tell us where to find them anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I keep seeing these numbers down in Winnipeg and Saskatchewan for attendance. And then you see any articles and it's 20% up TSN viewership. It's all this sort of thing with viewership that is constantly moving up and up. And in today's day and age, this is where the money comes from. Yes, it's great to have a live gate, but look at the numbers that the NFL, the NBA, the NHL are getting. CFL is going to get a fraction of that, but these numbers are huge. Absolutely mammoth numbers that TV right deals are getting.
Oh, yeah.
And the TV rights deal is almost up with TSN. Couldn't Amazon swoop in and say, yeah, we'll do it? Netflix, we've talked about it before. Netflix has paid millions and millions of dollars to get the WWE rights.
Yeah, but I mean, million.
Do you think Raw and SmackDown outperform CFL on a week-to-week basis?
Well, I mean,
in Canada,
probably if you add all the games up together, because you have 4 games and you're getting 800 to $1 million per game watching on each game. So you're getting, let's say, 3.5 to 4 million people watching the CFL.
And on a good rating for SmackDown or a Raw
is usually 800 to $1 million.
No, not for Canada.
Oh, just for Canada. Yeah, I guess so, eh?
You're looking at 350,000.
True.
So I'm not saying, there's a streaming deal coming through. I'm literally just hyperbolizing.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see a local net, like a national network, like CTV, CBC, get the rights.
Why don't you go a route like the NFL and have a Thursday night game on Amazon and have a Friday night game on CBC? And
can you imagine the typical CFL fan?
Yeah, they'd lose their minds.
People would snap. I mean, I wouldn't care because I'm one of the very rare 60-year-olds that actually has every streaming service known to mankind that our kids all use and we don't. And so it's one of those, I can't see it, to be honest.
Why? And is it just because the demographic is...
But I mean, would you draw a younger crowd then?
I was literally just going to bring that up. Is the reason the number's down is because you have to pay for TSN.
Right.
And someone who's an NFL fan, they have Amazon literally. I know someone who has Amazon Prime literally just for the Thursday night NFL games.
Yeah.
Signed up for Prime just for that. And now they're scrolling. They're scrolling through their Amazon Prime, or Amazon's like, hey, there's a football game on a Thursday night. Click on it, and it's CFL.
I don't think anything's going to change with the CFL until the CFL changes.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain yourself on that one.
The current regime running this league has no... They come across like they have no business sense and no idea of how to market in 2024. They're still marketing like it's 1980. They haven't changed.
I disagree.
What do they got? They got CFL Plus.
You've got CFL Plus
down in the States that literally message me every single week. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that you think I have some kind of pull with the CFL. Because they can't get the game. They don't know where the game is. 1 week it's here, then they go to the CFL Plus and it's not there, and it's not what it should be. I'll say that.
But I have a hard time defending it because I think the CFL Plus app is garbage because it's not an app, it's a website. It's
horrible.
It's horrible, but it's better than what we had before. Improvement. All of a sudden, one day.
So you have one pile of shit. Now you got 2 piles of shit. Doesn't mean that you're better off. You still got
you got 2 piles of shit.
Right.
Eventually, that's going to turn into fertilizer and it'll turn into plants.
We don't have that much time. We got to make this happen.
But we do have. That's the thing. Like, There is a lot of time. Why don't we have time for the CFL
Well,
to
let
grow?
me give you an idea.
Keep growing.
I've emailed the CFL on numerous occasions. Not once have I got a response back. Here we are. We're nobodies. I mean, we're getting the Manny Arsenals, the Farhan. I was going through my list.
Harmondale,
Sakaris,
Sakaris.
and Price members. We're getting big names on this show. Let's face it.
Yep.
Let's pat ourselves on the back. We promote the CFL because we love the CFL.
Of course.
Don't you think it would be kind of cool if they actually responded to a damn email? Like, I'm not going to go into detail, but just respond to an email. Hey, CFL. It's not hard. I'm sure you don't get that many emails. I'm pretty sure you don't get that many emails.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a lot of emails.
I don't think they get a lot of emails.
I think, I'm pretty confident they get a lot of emails and a lot of spam emails.
But not from people wanting to promote their product for free.
I don't disagree.
Okay. Anyway.
I just think that I don't think ownership leadership is to blame for the lack of growth in the
Then who
CFL
is?
game.
If it's not leadership, who is it?
The deal that they signed with the leadership that's no longer here that signed the deal for the 10,000 year long contract where TSN owns every bit of media you produce.
Yeah, it's true. And it really affects everything. Even like when I talk about shows like the Rod Peterson show, huge viewership. They're literally blocked out because of TSN.
Yep.
And it's not that TSN's assholes. It's just that's in their contract. They have sole rights to broadcast anything from the CFL.
Yeah. Like if we play a clip from anything in the CFL, TSN has the right to ask us to take it down or remove it. There's a reason we don't do it.
Yes.
There's a reason why when you turn on Sportsnet and watch Sportsnet Central, they very rarely talk about the CFL because
They're not allowed to use it.
TSN doesn't play well when they own the rights.
Yeah, TSN will pick up the Sportsnet broadcast.
Hockey goes both ways because they're partners in that.
Exactly.
So I think that deal has really restricted what the CFL can do.
Could be. Could very well be.
And I wish I had someone inside the commissioner's office who was able to explain to me how that deal's worded and what they can and can't do and where the handcuffs are. No, it'll never happen, but I'm saying it'd be nice to have.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
I wish I had 1 million people watching our show. It's not happening.
It's not happening, especially when Twitter fucks us.
Well, it's called X now, and Elon Musk owns it, so eventually it was going to fuck us anyways.
It keeps saying sending data, but next week it'll be better.
Next week we will hopefully be live on Twitter. You can catch us on YouTube. Also, after the show is over, if you realized you missed it and you want to just listen to the audio version, you can do that on every single podcast listener, whether it be Apple, Google's dead. So on YouTube, there's YouTube Music has it, Pocket Casts, you name it, iHeart, anywhere that has podcast, we are there. If you search for the Hughes Sports Podcast, if you search for the BC Lions, we also do appear usually in the top 5 podcasts. Behind some pretty big names like the Rod Peterson Show, the BC Lions' own podcasts. But yeah, you can find us on social media at HSP_pod everywhere. You can follow me at JStreams. You can follow the old man at oldman_HSP. And we'll be back next week with another episode 78 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Mwah.